Well, jeepers! You're listening to Smash or Pass with JayBee, Milly, and Smash.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Smash or Pass with JayBee.
Hello.
Me, Milly, and today we have a very special guest, Levy.
Hi.
So, we are really excited to be doing this episode because for those of you that follow the channel, a few weeks ago we had the pleasure of speaking with Andre LeBlanc, who is in the live theatre performance of Scooby Doo, and now we get to speak with someone who has been able to see that and learn some more about it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess, Levy, if you want to tell us a bit about your background with Scooby Doo to ascertain where your mindset's at, of course, we're going to shout out your Instagram at the end, which is absolutely amazing for Scooby fans to follow. But in terms of background, do you have a favourite series or movie of Scooby Doo?
As for background, I'd have to say the classic series from 1969 is my favorite because it's literally it explores the origins of our beloved gang, and some of the mysteries are just so iconic and rememberable. And so every time you hear the series name, you think, oh, my favorite mystery is the one with the Black Knight ghost, or Captain Cutler's ghost, or stuff like that, you know?
That's amazing. That was certainly a very good series. And roughly at what age would you say you started to watch Scooby?
Let's see. I'd have to say I started watching Scooby Doo when I was 3 because when my family and I moved here to South Florida in 1998, I was just 2, and the year after we had gotten cable TV, so that was about 6 or 7 years after Cartoon Network had just shown on TV. They started the channel, so they would show all the Hanna-Barbera reruns from the Jetsons, the Flintstones, and also Scooby Doo. So from a young age, I was very attracted to the idea of 4 best friends going around in a really groovy vehicle called the Mystery Machine with their lovable talking dog, Scooby Doo. And I was always intrigued by like the mysteries, the locations, all the clues and the aha moments. So it's just kept me attached to the series all these years, even now.
That's absolutely incredible. And before we talk about the live show, I have to ask, what is your favourite memory, besides the live show, from being a Scooby fan? So it could be the first time you found a certain collectible or something along those lines.
I guess I would have to say one of my favorite memories from the entire Scooby Doo series is I am a little bit of a cosplayer back here at home. So the first time I actually cosplayed as a gender bent Velma, and I entered a performance, and I actually ended up winning Judge's Choice for the show.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
It's actually incredible because cosplay just seems like so much fun.
Yeah, it is. And you can always cosplay even if you're on a budget. Cosplay doesn't have to be these expensive pieces. You can always put together something from home and still people will love you for it and relate to you.
That's amazing. And I guess, starting to mention the gang there as well, I'm really excited to hear what you thought of the adaptations of the gang in this show. So Velma certainly sounds like one that's quite close to your heart. So I guess that's one that I want to ask about first. Like, how did you feel about this adaptation of Velma?
Honestly, I really love this adaptation of Velma because she was very more quirky and involved throughout the entire show, the mystery, and honestly, I just connected with her so much because I'm the energetic one. I'm the friend in the group that always researches things and finds out information and then being able to share them with my friends. Just that's how I relate so strongly to me and Velma. So I think for the live show, they did our favorite Brainiac justice.
Oh, that's amazing.
I mean, I think that if they get the gang exactly spot on, I think that's a recipe for a pretty good time. So how do you feel that they adapted the rest of the gang?
The rest of the gang, they did a pretty spot on job. Daphne, they really did incorporate some of her karate and kung fu experience for some of the fight scenes, especially in the beginning of the show, and her intuitiveness. Shaggy and Scooby, you can never go wrong with Shaggy and Scooby because they're lovable. when they're hungry, when they're scared, when they're unwilling to do any part of the mystery. And with Fred, I'm very happy that they decided to make him more active instead of just like, planning and like pointing the finger and like, all right, let's go do this, and not ever showing what he does to contribute to the mystery. In this show, they definitely show you all like what each member of the gang contributes to the mystery and how they all work together to solve it.
I guess a big question, I think, for me personally, is when we've seen like a live action adaptation of Scooby Doo before, one of the biggest challenges for them has been to make Scooby. So we've seen some behind the scenes things from both of those movies, and it's anything from using a plushie to somebody having to dress in a green costume. How did they manage to make Scooby, and did they do it justice for this?
Oh my god. When they made Scooby, it was really amazing because I was part of the VIP experience, so we got to meet Scooby Doo before the show. They made him as about as tall as anybody else because they have him on 2 feet, which may be jarring for some because we're used to having Scooby Doo on 4 feet. But I think they did him just fine. The suit was so soft, and it really did feel like you were hugging an actual dog. And the way his mouth moved on every word, everything was spot on. And honestly, I think they did a really good and different job because in some of the past live on stage adaptations, especially their very first one, Scooby Doo in Stage Fright back in 2002, that one was a little, let's just say, very suspicious, even for the series. So, and then when they did the subsequent ones, it was more alike to the ones you see in the Universal Studios theme parks around the world. But with this adaptation for Lost City of Gold, they really brought Scooby Doo to life in a way that's never been imagined possible before, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've mentioned there that you got the VIP experience, which just seems like a dream come true for Scooby fans. And I guess what I want to ask is, more or less from start to finish, what was that whole experience like? As in, what was included? How did it play out? And are you aware of how that compared to, I guess, the other tiers of tickets?
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. They did cut back on a lot of things because of the COVID restrictions that we kind of still have in effect here, especially in Florida. But we got our badges, we got bottles of water, we were able to sit in a comfortable seating area while waiting to meet Scooby Doo. They did, just for safety reasons, we weren't able to meet the entire gang, but I was still very grateful to meet Scooby Doo by himself. And they took photos of us with Scooby Doo, which they emailed to us as well. And we got literally first, we got like the VIP consisted. There was two different tiers. There was Jinkies and there was Zoinks. So for the Jinkies tier, you were able to sit any row between the first row and the 15th row in front of the stage. And then for the Zoinks row, it was 16 and back up to a certain number. And honestly, it was such a wonderful experience. I met like minded Scooby Doo fans who were in their 40s and 50s to as young as kids that were just 10 years old and they weren't born kind of in Scooby Doo's prime, but because of their parents, they were able to, be educated and taught in the many wonderful years of our lovable dogs.
That sounds amazing. So I think one reason that we like information like this is I know that, they haven't listed dates for the UK yet, so we've not been able to get tickets, but through speaking to people that are involved in the show, they have said that they are starting to open up dates soon for other countries. So it's good to they will be opening up tickets for other countries too. So it'll be good to kind of hear more. It was good to hear more detail on what options are available.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess one other thing that I'd like to know is, I guess this would have been really difficult to do for a stage performance, but did we see an appearance of the Mystery Machine, be that as a cutout or anything like that?
We definitely did, and let me tell you, it was amazing. Am I allowed to talk about how it was done, or do you want to keep that a surprise? Because I can talk about how they did it if you guys want me to.
So I suppose we should issue a general spoiler warning. I guess towards the end we'll have a more divisive non-spoiler verdict and spoiler verdict. But I think for now, spoiler warning. And if you do want to go into like some of the details about that, that would be absolutely fine.
Okay, all right. So, spoiler warning to anybody listening or watching. If you want to wait for the surprise, you can definitely wait and get your tickets. But for those who are not sure if they're ever going to see the show or they're unsure about going, because you can only verify from like my account, and then you might want to experience it yourself. So this is just a clear spoiler warning. But it was amazing because throughout some of the songs, uh, you would see each of them pick up pieces of the Mystery Machine and build it together on the stage, and it formed up. And the headlights were on, the rear lights were on, and the Mystery Machine came to life on stage right before your very eyes, and it made me so happy. I couldn't stop smiling because the Mystery Machine is one of my very top favorite cars of any pop culture icon whatsoever.
That's amazing.
I mean, it is up there. I can't think of any other vehicles that have got to that level of fame except maybe the Ecto one or the DeLorean. Like, it is the Mystery Machine, and I just think that's so exciting to see. And it almost makes me want to travel to America to see it early. Like, that's just amazing.
Painful having to wait.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. But if you guys don't want to wait, they have a couple of dates for like in February and maybe in March for some states here. But if you guys do end up going, I do recommend to save up your money for the VIP experience because it is worth it. It's just depending on how like your country, how the COVID restrictions do it, and I guess it's up to the discretion of the company and the venue that they're holding on what they want to do with the package. So it is subject to change. But regardless, it's still worth it because you do get to have like the front row seating. Like when I went to go see it, we sat on the very front row in the middle of the row, so we were like center of the stage. And the best part about sitting in that row was that throughout the show, some of the actors and actresses saw how energized I was. So they looked at me, they pointed at me, and I was like dancing, and they could hear me singing, so it was the ultimate best experience.
That's amazing.
That genuinely, oh my gosh, I want to go now. This is crazy. But like, okay, so before I get too excited myself, I suppose talking about the other members of the cast, we of course got the amazing experience of speaking to Andréa Leblanc, who plays Professor Falcone, and I was wondering what you thought about their performance in the show.
Oh my god, her performance was very, very immaculate. She really had the performance of like, yes, I'm the professor. I know everything. Don't you worry about that, Mystery Inc. Anything you think you might know, I already know. And just the beauty of the costume, the makeup, it pulled her look together. And I was like, yes, Professor, I see you. You stretch your stuff. You show your intelligence, and you prove to the world that women in power are beautiful and worth respecting.
That's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that that things are really well for their performance as well, because they were so amazing. Just been on the podcast and been able to speak with them about everything. So yeah, I'm so glad to hear that for them.
I think my next question is, at this point, do you have potentially a top three favorite pieces of music from the show?
Let's see. Number one would have to be Do the Scooby Doo. Number two would have to be Looking for Clues. And then the third one, the third one is a tough choice. It's between La Dama del Oro and Follow the Stars. But I think I'd have to lean more towards Follow the Stars because that's a beautiful moment where Daphne and Velma really do share their friendship, and basically throughout the song you see them just to show how proud they are to work together as a team, and you really do get the sense that their friendship is beautiful and they really love each other and they're so happy to work together on the mystery, while finding clues and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think they've always kind of been an iconic duo, so it's good to know that they have their own like song to express that now. Like I think the soundtrack overall is absolutely incredible, and it must be just a completely different experience to see that live, I guess. Like, did they have like a whole section at the start of the stage where they had, the live instruments there?
No, unfortunately not. This kind of live show, I think all of the music was pre-recorded. There was no orchestra, unfortunately, but you could still hear their voices come through clearly through the microphones. So, yeah.
I wonder if they'll release any karaoke versions at some point, because I know that I'd have so much fun with that.
See, I want
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I just wanted to go back to the characters a second because I realised that there was a few that we didn't mention. So we obviously talked about the gang and Professor Falcone. Were there any other characters, and obviously this may get into spoiler territory slightly here, but any other characters that you really enjoyed or want to mention?
I really loved. I don't know if her name is Margarita or Margat. I kind of got a little confused at that part, but the actress who played Margarita or Marguerite, I think it's Marguerite. She was absolutely beautiful. Her dancing was so iconic, and because I am Hispanic myself, but I am not. I think it took place in like the city of gold. El Dorado is more. I think I don't know if it's in Colombia, but I'm Puerto Rican myself. But I still could appreciate the beautiful moves and the art and the artistry that she danced on stage, and her singing. It was so breathtaking. She was absolutely marvelous.
That's amazing.
They definitely seem like one to watch out for sure. So I suppose going by like the kind of construct of the show, we're gonna go for a bit of a brief verdict summary and then some highlights. So I guess in terms of non-spoilers, what are your general thoughts of the show, although you don't need to give your verdict at the end of this one?
Okay, so my general feelings of the show are that it's truly amazing. It's definitely Scooby Doo, on in modern day. All the effects and the music and the acting that's gone into the show, all the hard work, it's definitely worth seeing. Depending, no matter what seating that you get at the show, you'll definitely feel immersed in the environment on the stage, you know, the puppetry. It'll make you feel like you're right in either a new movie or like a new special or an episode of the series. And I definitely feel like this will leave its lasting mark on the series history for many, many, many years to come and many generations to come as well.
Hey, that's amazing. Thank you. So like you say, that's kind of a brief summary. I guess, like we say, warning at this point that it could head down a lot more spoiler territory, because my next question for you would be, what are your top 3 moments of the show?
Okay, so top 3 moments. Oh, that's very hard because the whole show was amazing. But if I gotta put it into just top 3, I'll do it. So, top 3 moments was first in the beginning of the show where it lands you like smack dab in the middle of another mystery. Basically, the gang is investigating a phantom chef haunting a restaurant. So the gang it's like a seaside restaurant. So the gang steps right into action just in the middle of like fighting off some squids, and then while Shaggy and Scooby encounter the ghostly chef himself, so it's just classic Scooby Doo mystery setup, and like when they figure out the mystery, and then Velma gets the invitation to Inky Fest, which is in, the city that they were investigating the mystery in. Uh, second favorite moment of mine was when a part where Scooby and Shaggy thought they were trapped and they weren't going to get out, and Shaggy really sang like a heartfelt song to Scooby Doo, really thanking him for all the years they've been best friends together and loving every moment of spending with him, and saying how if that moment was going to be their last, it should be the most spectacular memory. And then the third moment I have to say is the song that, like I said, Daphne and Velma were doing together, because I've always identified with Velma, and fortunately, I'm so grateful to have my best friend. She is the Daphne to my Velma, and we are just inseparable, the two of us. I'm always the brainy one, and she's always the fashionable one, you know? So the fact that I am so fortunate to kind of have that relationship in real life with my best friend, as Daphne and Velma do in the series and in the play, it really hit home for me. So yeah, I guess I'd say those are my top three moments.
That's amazing. And they just sound like there's some almost like really beautiful moments in it. I mean, especially the Scooby and Shaggy one, for me, that just sounded so sweet. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, I really wish I could see that.
Mm.
I'm hoping that we get to see this soon. I really am. Now, I guess this next question kind of leans on something that I'd say was relatively important with every Scooby-Doo, movie, episode, and that is, what did you think to the mystery?
The mystery was honestly well thought out and very revolutionized. Not really, and like anything has been done in the series, in the shows, or in the movies, or even in the live shows of years past. It's very revolutionary. They kind of deeply explore like the mystery behind the lost city of gold, and all the new characters that show up, the villain, the true villain behind the end of it all. That's definitely a shocker, but it's definitely a new take on a different kind of mystery for the gang. And yeah, I basically have no other words to describe it. It's just that amazing.
An interesting thing that I noticed looking at the show's website is that they credit Frank Welker as Scooby. Now, I do take it that they haven't toured along with Frank Welker. Maybe they just pre-recorded some Scooby sayings to fit in with the script. But how was that integrated with the rest of the cast? And did it seem natural to have the same Scooby with different people encompassing the crew that they're usually around?
Yes, it is true. I feel like they pre-recorded some lines for the show, because it would be amazing if Frank Welker was there for every show, but unfortunately he was not. But it really blended so smoothly. None of the cast were speaking over each other. They knew how to speak and when to cut off the sentence, just to make everything flow naturally. And Scooby Doo, when his lines came up, he poked in, at the right times. Everything landed, the jokes landed, so everything was very, very smooth. And even if it was a pre-recorded line, I could still feel that like the gang riffed off of each other just excellently.
That's amazing. And it's so great that they did manage to incorporate Frank Welker in some way as well. I do really admire that. So my next question for you is that JayBee and I fully love Scooby. A big part of that isn't just watching Scooby, but it's also collecting as well. So one thing that we like to do when we go to places is look at what's for sale, like if there's any merch for the production or anything like that. So was there kind of like a stand selling Scooby things that was related to the performance, or anything that you thought that you saw and that you liked?
I mean, I was honestly surprised, because they have a multitude of t-shirts in like some varying designs but different colors. They also were selling tote bags and mugs and hats and beanies, magnets, buttons, face masks. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. But they had a difference in everything, and it definitely was worth the pricing. When you see it, you might think it's a little jarring, but because this has been a production I've been waiting on for 2 years, my loving partner, he bought us the tickets when we first started dating, and he even agreed. I'm like, honey, I love you, but I don't want to cancel these. I really have faith they're gonna come back, so I'm willing to wait no matter how long it takes. And so yesterday was the 2 year 2-year results. So we actually have been saving up for this too. So he was like, "Whatever you want, honey, go ahead and get it if you want it." I'm like, "Thank you." So I got me a shirt. I got me a hat, buttons, magnets, a really cute tote bag, and I also did get a shirt for free as part of the VIP experience. And I got this cute little patch that was included as well. And it's just it was a wonderful experience, but I also do have another great experience, you know, that I tend to like doing after every show or whatever, and I think a lot of people should do this. I like to make sure to thank whoever was working on the show, that like whoever you can see, like the light people, the sound people, and I like to thank them for all their hard work, because I do understand they work at the venue almost every day, working very hard, and especially for the performance, because they probably were called in. And I just really make it a point, because it's been a rough couple years for everybody. So I feel like the least we can do to do our part is to really thank all of them for all the hard work they've done, and just to maybe I'm so sorry, maybe make their night a little brighter at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a nice way to spread positivity among people, because I guess for all it's easy, as you say, to look at all of the cast who is obviously working hard. There's also the behind the scenes element of that, which is very, very important to highlight. So it's amazing that you do that. And I feel like if everyone did that, maybe the world would be a little bit better. And so based upon that, did you kind of feel that you kind of spread that positivity?
Oh yes, definitely. Some of the light people, they actually said thank you so much. That really made my night. Like this one girl who was working on the stuff, I think she might have been the stage manager. She was like, "Thank you, I really appreciate it so much. That really did make my night." And that's what I like hearing, because we get so caught up in like easily buying tickets for events, or just going to events, going to places, but we never really take the time to thank the person working on it, because you have no idea what they're going through in their regular lives. They could be stressing out over work, bills, something tragic could have happened to them, something could have happened to family members, friends, that they have to put a mask on and come to work because that's their job, it's their income. So, I like to thank them no matter what. And sometimes the results are very, very rewarding. A lot of them, unfortunately, they don't know how to like take the compliments because they're not used to it, which I understand. But then the others who are very outspoken and very, outwardly grateful. Like, I'm not saying everybody's not grateful, but the ones who tend to show it more and are ready to show it, it feels really good. Like, it warms my heart.
Well, that's amazing, and it's amazing what you do. And I think you've touched on many good points there about like not knowing what's going on in everyone's lives, and just being nice can make a big difference to anyone's day. So I think that's a really important message to kind of, or for everyone to always just bear in mind. And so yeah, I guess thank you so much for saying that.
The spirit of the Scooby fandom, I think, a very, very positive group of people that have real empathy for others, which is amazing to see.
It is. And so my last question for you, I think, at this point is, so at this point of the show, when we're doing, reviewing Scooby episodes or movies, we would give a smash or pass rating and our reasons for why we think that. So smash is that we really enjoyed it. If we could, we'd go and watch it again. And pass is, it wasn't that good. There's some things that I'd like to have seen done differently, so no this time. So that's what we're looking for, if possible, from you, a smash or pass rating. And at this point, you can give whatever spoilers you want about the plot, or why you enjoyed it, or why you didn't enjoy it when you're doing your reasoning. So thank you.
Sure, no problem. I would have to absolutely not just a smash. It has to be a Scooby Dooby Doo smash, because this show was so amazing. I don't know what else I could say without sounding like I'm repeating myself, but the energy, the vibes, the songs, the hard work that all the actors and actresses that put in, the mystery, the iconic, I think there were some references, just all the how our lovable gang's personalities have come to life on stage. There was actually a couple references that I really did love in the show that I had noticed, especially hearing like audio wise, like there's some references that I just love how they put in the show, and it is amazing. I would watch it so many more times if I could. I would get VIP so many times if I could, just to be in the front, really cheering them on, everything. So yes, not just a smash, but a Scooby Dooby Doo smash.
Thank you so much. That just makes us even more excited to do that. And I guess if it does come to the UK, we will be doing our own independent verdicts of that, but I'm sure that it's going to be an equally super Scooby-Doo smash. So before we wrap up today, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's so amazing for you to offer, because we just are so excited about this show so much. So do you have any social media links that you want to shout out today? And of course, these will all be linked in the description down below.
Sure. And yes, it's no problem at all. Me being a little Scooby Doo fan, I notice you guys are very popular in the community because of, your show and like so many of our other Scooby Doo friends in the community. So if I can just give my time, because I have plenty of free time as it is, if I could just, have my voice be heard, somebody as little as me, not particularly well known in the Scooby Doo community, unlike you guys and, Ashton and everybody else. I feel like I can make a difference for other Scooby Doo fans who might be really shy, or they might not be ready to declare their love for the series, or they're not sure if they want to. This is my message to all the Scooby Doo fans out there. Never be afraid to show your dedication and love for the series. And hey, you might end up just getting lucky to be featured on such an amazing show like this, And as for my social media, the only one I want to shout out right now is my Instagram. It's at Precious, PRECIOUS, little LITTLE, monster, MONSTER. And you'll see the profile picture will be of me, dressed as Gender Bent Velma, with the voice actress for Velma from the Bravo Doobie Doo episode of Johnny Bravo from 1998 all the way until 2002, I think, BJ Ward. She was the voice of Velma for a lot of our favorite movies, like Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, and Scooby-Doo. I'm missing one more. I think there's four. There's four of the movies. Witch's Ghost, Zombie Island, Cyber Chase.
I think they were Googie as well, weren't they? And Reluctant Werewolf.
I think she was in that one. I'm not too sure, but yeah. But yeah, that's my social media. That's where to follow me.
Thank you so much for your kind words. That is absolutely incredible, and I completely agree with your message. I think a lot of the Scooby community are very approachable. I think that's one thing that we pride upon, which is just being able to get a hold of us, being in the community, not just here making shows, but also making good memories and friends as well. So,
and I think more on the message that we were trying to sit down here as well. Just at this point, thank you to everybody that works on Scooby Doo, because obviously they're the reason the community exists. They've helped build it up, be that the voice actors, the people that have helped with writing the scripts, the production on set, all that kind of thing. So I guess just to reiterate the message that Levy was making before, just I guess thank you to everyone at that point.
Yeah, and I guess everyone that has worked on the show as well. Like, even if one time you gave Freddie Prinze Jr. a bottle of water on Tangalooma, like literally anyone and everyone has been a part of making this such a great experience. So huge thank you to everyone that's worked on Scooby.
Definitely big thank you to everybody, and thank you to the community. Like, I know a lot of communities, unfortunately, they can tend to get toxic because of certain people's opinions, but I love how us as a Scooby-Doo community, we strive to make sure that we remain a decent, wholesome community, and we try to stay positive and not really bring down or tear down anything in the community, and we try to lift each other up as much as possible.
That's so true. So yes, thank you so much to everybody. And again, thank you for being on the show today. Thank you so much for going over this with us, because like we said, in the UK at the minute, we are in a position where we couldn't see this for ourselves, but it's also made us so much more excited, because just scenes like you were talking about how they built the mystery machine and everything, that just sounds so iconic that like it has to see. So if you can go and see this, please do. It does sound absolutely incredible. So yeah, this has been another video on the JayBee and Milly channel. So please like, comment, and subscribe.
Totally. Thank you guys so much.